We want to show you Benjamin Netanyahu's speech. This is just yesterday. It was very, very fresh. And this is the speech that he gave at the Cyber Tech conference in Tel Aviv on Tuesday. And I'll be honest with you, it's quite cocky and arrogant. You can judge for yourself. Watch it.
What we're in the midst of right now is a change. What you can see in the story of the Israeli door to Israeli cybersecurity for aircraft and many other things is a shift from the old world to the new world. Here's the old world, okay? That's the old world. That's all of 10 years ago, okay? Here are the 10 leading companies in the world. They include 5 energy companies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 IT company. Now shift forward 10 years, which is nothing, it's a blink of an eye, and you see this most amazing change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 IT information-based companies, no energy left. All of these new companies, all of them, top 10 companies, have major research centers in Israel. Not research centers, major research centers in Israel. These are some of the 300 that do. And in some of them, for some of them, these research centers are the most advanced that they have outside their home country.
In 10 years, the past 10 years, the world economy has transitioned from the top 10 corporations in the world were dominated by energy companies.
Yes, oil, gas, the regular.
10 years later, now, those companies are no longer on that list, but 7 of the top 10 corporations in the world are information technology companies, and all of them have major presence in Israel.
Yes, data is the new oil, and business in the oil industry in Israel is booming, as Benjamin Netanyahu pointed here. Now,
so Israel is becoming the center of global information technology for the entire world.
By design.
This
is a plan that Israel started putting in effect around 2007. Around the same time, NSO Group and others started opening up their spy shops in Tel Aviv and other parts of their country. Rick, the second part of his speech here, Benjamin Netanyahu went into why this matters. Why does it matter that Israel is building up their tech industry? And what he said is that one of the ways for Israel, a very tiny country, to become a superpower is to build out and control the mechanisms to protect the internet. What you're about to hear here is basically the same pitch that Benjamin Netanyahu must have given to his funding committees, to the military, and to all officials in Israel to support this plan 10 years ago, to bring to the point where now they are the second largest in the world when it comes to cyber technology, only second to the United States.
Watch it.
Big data, connectivity, artificial intelligence. Let's go back to cyber. That's the first industry because everybody else needs it. And here's what's happening to the Israeli cyber industry. Is growing, obviously, in sales. It's growing in terms of market share. In 2014, we were 10% of the market share of the global private investment in cybersecurity. By 2017, it's doubled. That's a very quick doubling. And it is now second to the United States. That tall tower there is the United States. The United States is bigger than Israel. But it ain't that much bigger than Israel. And Israel is number 2. Israel is 1/10 of 1% of the world's population, and we are receiving 20% of the global share in private cybersecurity investments. That's 200 times our weight in the world. What this revolution is doing, big data, AI, and connectivity, is allowing small countries to be big countries. It depends if you have the brains and the system to create conceptual products at an accelerated rate, conceptual products that are at the cutting edge and give you a competitive advantage.
if you don't see the end time Bible prophecy significance in what he just said, you're dull. I don't know what else to say. He's telling you Israel and Zionism is going to dominate the world through technology.
And they're not far away from becoming the center. As he said here, we're
He's moving up fast on the
moving
U.S.
to take over the
He
position
said
of
the
United
U.S.
States.
is not that big.
That's right. And think how haughty that is. If it wasn't for the United States protection, Israel really wouldn't have much. But he is even trying to dominate in a sector the United States is competing against other superpowers like Russia and China.
And they also share a lot with China. But I wonder how the Chinese and the Russians feel about Israel's rapid growth in technology.
Well, actually, this has been addressed by Jerusalem Post. They said that Israel is going to become the belt in the new the Belt and Road Initiative that China
The buckle? They're going to become the buckle?
The buckle in it. And they're going to do this through being a guardian of the World Wide Web. This article actually was...
Israel's going to guard the internet?
Yes, the Jerusalem Post
dear Lord.
published this article, Israel and the Unexpected New World Order. That's the title they used. Okay? They said for the Western world, strong new alliances between certain non-Western countries constitute something of a mystery. But while the West is distracted by political uprisings and remains enamored with the idea of its own manifest destiny, a new world order is emerging, dominated by and up-and-coming global superpowers like Russia, China, and India. And where Israel comes in on this, the article goes, if Bitcoin is the model for a new internet-based global currency, Israel is likely to be its guardian too, protecting that currency from hackers around the world. As chief of security for the world's information and currency, and with energy independence, Israel stands to gain substantial wealth. It is a position that explains the willingness of Russia and China to negotiate with Israel today. It refers back to the Hoffer project, the port that China is taking over in Israel. It is also a position that will invoke resentment tomorrow. Most importantly, Israel's position to guard the world's internet. Everything today is traded, controlled, and administered online. And Israel is emerging as the world's #1 guardian of the World Wide Web. That means, regardless of being a few miles off track from China's land and maritime roads, it is positioned to be the center of both belts.
Okay, so we're going to a cashless, digital currency system in the world.
Yes.
They're going to abolish cash. We're going to have an invisible, cashless, digital currency. And Israel says, we will be the guardian of the digital money. So the money changers, are going to be back in business. Not going to be back, they're just going to a new level of business. They're going to guard the invisible digital currency.
They've gone from guarding the gold vaults to guarding the internet servers, or further, because all the officials we've heard here are talking about it not being something old and archaic. This is going to be an artificially intelligent system. Much of what you've done, a global brain, an AI-powered global brain. That, from what we're hearing here, Israel's contending to run and be master of.
If they got wealthy shaving silver coins centuries ago.
Yes, England, one place.
In England,
in the
all
13th
right.
century.
What do you think they're going to do when they're shaving Bitcoin?
Well, they're going to become the first, I'd say, quadrillionaires in the world. If they're going this direction, we can't even fathom the amount of wealth that Israel, small country Israel, is going to be able to bring in from the globe.
I want to go on with Mr. Netanyahu's speech because it becomes progressively more arrogant and cocky. So what's our next clip?
Well, so apparently Unit 8200 is no longer a big secret, Rick. In the next part of Benjamin Netanyahu's speech, he actually addressed not only Unit 8200, Israel's version of the NSA, but he even went on to say that Israel is part of the Five Eyes.
Okay, now wait a minute. Five Eyes. United States, Canada, Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand.
Israel.
Five. United States, Canada, Great Britain, New Zealand, Israel. The Five Eyes that spy on the world. You're telling me that Israel is one of the Five Eyes?
I'm not telling you. Benjamin Netanyahu is telling you and the world in
Let me
yesterday's
guess.
speech.
They're the third eye.
Second. I see what you're going. But
Right.
seriously, it is crazy what he
But
just
then
said.
there's six eyes.
Yes, and a secret eye being one of them, Israel.
All this talk about five eyes is not accurate. There's actually six eyes.
According to Benjamin Netanyahu, not only is he part of that organization, but could potentially be getting shared. The intelligence that's going through this alliance.
All right, let's watch this one.
Our NSA, which is called Unit A200, it's pretty big. How big do you think it is? Well, I'll give you a hint, okay? America, the United States, is about 42 times the size of Israel in terms of population. So how much bigger do you think the American NSA is relative to the Israeli NSA? No brave people among you? 42 times? 40 times? Nah, come on, it's not 5 times, but it's not 10 times bigger. It's not even 10 times bigger. You know the 5 eyes? Israel is the 6th eye? No, Israel is the 2nd eye. So we have a tremendous sunk investment, whether we like it or not. To survive, you know, Israel is not that big a country, but it has to have a very big defense capability.
The 2nd eye of the 5 eyes.
Edward, this is the first time this has ever been said publicly.
The first time for the world, yes. What he said there, and the audience, he's saying to the audience that apparently already knows this. He didn't say it in like a shocking tone, like he was making news. He's speaking to a group, the future cyber warriors of Israel, and they know this. This is an accepted fact.
Now, this is that segment we just watched. That's where really he started to become arrogant,
yes,
and cocky, and brash, saying, our unit 8200. It's really big. You want to know how big it is? I'll tell you how big it is, And then started talking about the 5 eyes. And there's really not 5 eyes, there's 6 eyes. And we're number 2. Okay, well, that means Israel is participating in the sharing of intelligence with the United States, Canada, Great Britain,
New Zealand, Australia.
And Australia. All right, and they're sucking in all that information that they're getting. All the spying that's going on you. All right, on individual citizens. They're sharing in it. They're participating in it. I'm telling you, this is giving me chills knowing that Israel is racing to become the dominant player in artificial intelligence and surveillance and big data, because they will have a file on everybody. And if you criticize Zionism,
you'll be blacklisted for the internet.
Globally.
We're talking about your entire, we're talking about deplatforming. Forget deplatforming. You'll be de-internet. You will not be able to get it.
Dehumanized. You won't exist as a human.
Can you imagine today not using a credit card, not using an online social media account? I know you don't use them, but I'm saying most people, they live online. They could literally be erased through an enforcement of a global, like say an anti-BDS law.
And a global social credit score. No, so you have a global social credit score that ranks you based on your acceptance and obedience to Zionism.
Think about what you just said there. All the politicians you previously noted that would be all for a blacklist for this anti-BDS law, they're all against the social credit system. They called it draconian. I think I've heard Senator Marco Rubio specifically rail against China's social credit system.
Until Israel endorses it.
Right. And that's all this is. It's their version of a social credit system, which is only further empowered by them becoming the guardians of the structure of the internet.
I am convinced that the global mark of the beast system, the fourth empire that rises up, that is ruled by the son of perdition, the man of destruction, I am convinced it will be out of Israel. It will be Zionism. I am absolutely convinced that that's what the Church of God is facing. That the force that's going to make war against the saints will be Zionism. And
there are Christians supporting it right now and trying to bring it into existence.
Yes, trying to build a third temple. All the things that they want, that any Christian with the Holy Spirit discernment would know this is not right.